Every night, just as everything calms down when the noise began in our minds can become much too loud. We've all been there. Being in bed, looking up at the ceiling, stuck in a loop of never-ending thoughts about the bad things we did today and what could happen tomorrow. Doesn't it feel tired? You're not the only one in this mental race. Thinking too much is like having a scratch you can't get rid of, and it can take away both of your night's sleep and your peace during the day. But what if I told you that? You can be quiet, those noisy thoughts. Today, we go deep into the Stoic way of thinking, an old way of thinking that's still useful today, as it was a very long time ago. It's not just about ideas from the past, it's about real tools that can help us live a good life. Life with more focus. So if your mind is worn out, going out of control, follow me. Let's look at how these methods from the past can help us feel calm and clear in our crazy world. In case you like what we're doing right now and want to stay in touch with more ideas like these, please do me a simple free favor and click that button that says subscribe. And believe me, you won't want to miss any of it. Of this video, every moment is worth something. To help you calm down the chatter in your head, remember those times when you're not doing anything, your thoughts going. There are a lot of what ifs and maybes, and then the hours have gone by and you haven't made any progress? That's what we're going after here. Stoicism teaches us a strong lesson. Cure for this weakness by thinking too much. Putting action first over and over again. Think about the Greek philosophy Stoic, Julius Caesar, who said the key to every success is the order of things that aren't clear. Marcus did more than just think. Think things through. He liked getting things done. That really make a difference. So what does this mean for us? The first step is to understand that taking action naturally moves us forward, while overthinking often keeps us from moving forward. Have you ever seen that? When you finally choose to, just one small step forward. It's like lifting weights, taken off your shoulders. That's because taking action frees you. It breaks the chains, putting things off and worry. Here is a story from my own life. I had this project thought once. It made me think about it for weeks. I'm planning everything in my head. But guess what? It didn't go anywhere. Because I was too busy as they tried to make it perfect, I couldn't stop thinking about what to do. The moment I started to do something, even little things like writing things down or telling a friend about the idea, things began to change. It wasn't great. It was progress, though. The Stoics thought that we are in charge of what we do, but not always the result by focusing on about what we can do now. We lessen the stress of trying to keep every possible outcome in the future, which, let's be honest, is not possible. Everything you do changes the way you think, brings new ideas, and yes, sometimes new problems come up, but always moving. Each step you take offers a chance to learn, a chance to change and adapt. Here's one more thing to think about. Taking action builds confidence. Every time you do something, you show yourself that you can move, get past your fears. As you gain speed, all of a sudden, what seemed impossible starts to happen to look pretty doable. Remember that in Stoicism, a lot of people are talking about life in harmony with nature, and it makes sense to get better and learn from what we do, not just what we believe. So what little thing could you take today? It could be that phone call you've been putting off, putting in an email, or just getting your workspace in order. It doesn't have to be a huge jump. Small steps are still steps. It's important to keep going. Don't let your thoughts stop you. What Seneca said, it's not because things are hard that we don't dare, it's because we're afraid, which makes them hard. By taking on the tough, putting more value on action than thought, we give ourselves power to enjoy life more, being braver and knowing where they're going. So let's carry out those plans. Let's get things done. You'll be shocked at how much more you can do when you move from thinking too much to acting. The thought is clear from what the Stoics taught, most notably from Marcus Aurelius, who kept telling himself while he thought to keep his pride in check. He wrote, "You could end your life now." Let that decide what you say, do, and think. This was a note to pay attention to what really counts. not getting caught up in how important they are. So then why is understanding you're not that unique? Is that really a good thing? Okay, it has to do with realizing that the earth doesn't spin. L. About what we do as much as we think it might. Most people in way too many deals living their own lives, too worried about it going with what we're doing. This changes everything. When you fully understand it, because it means do not think too much. How people see you, have you ever thought about it? Online to put something up and because you were scared, what do you think people would think? Or maybe you've been scared to begin a new task or look for work because you're scared. Getting bad reviews or failing having faith in everyone will see you and judge you. Let this be a wake-up call for you. Most people, after a few days, they won't even remember it. Everyone is too busy dealing with their own problems. This doesn't mean what you did don't matter or that you shouldn't try to do your best, but it does mean you might be able to. Don't worry so much. Being aware of that one mistake is not going to be the main thing of interest to everyone. This idea is helpful to take off the front that everyone is aware of, keeping an eye on everything we do, which is a common trap that makes you think too much and feels anxious. It feels good, doesn't it? To understand so you can live your life, pick what you want, and sometimes make a mistake the world not going to fall apart. You can try new things to learn, to live without the heavy, the imagined weight of always close attention. To be patient helps us. In this case, really get this idea right. It makes us humble. And how important of working on getting better for its own sake, not for praise or fear of being criticized. Julius Caesar thought about living a good life and being honest with yourself, not living for approval from other people. So after that, you find yourself overthinking about how other people might understand what you did. Remember this lesson. You're not that unique. The whole world saw. That's good. It means you're free to get more out of life in an honest way and without too much worry over each and every decision. This isn't meant to make you less valuable. It has to do with realizing being in the spotlight isn't always on you, and that's good news. Take advantage of that area to pay attention to what's important to you. Do things that you really enjoy, and stop worrying about small things when we almost always see how we stack up against others no matter what their wins are, how they look, or even what they post on social media. We made things happen. For being unhappy, it looks like we're measuring, putting our life's worth up against a measure that changes all the time. It depends on who we're looking at ourselves to right now. Focus was very important to the Stoics. On the things we can change in the lives of other people, certainly not under our control. It is said that Epictetus pay attention to what you can change and let go of what you can't change. How you spend your time focusing on other people. You're throwing away that valuable thing. Pay attention about things you can't change or to affect. I'll draw you a picture. Picture yourself having a great day. You're happy and proud of what you've done. No matter how big or small, this is when you go to Instagram or on Facebook. All of a sudden, you see the best of someone else, trips, perfect homes, accomplishments. All of a sudden, your own wins don't feel quite not so important anymore. Compare and contrast can lead to this. This is what the Stoics teach us, is to keep our sense of self-worth in what we believe in and progress not compared to other people. It's not just about getting better. It has to do with a big change in how we see success and joy. It has to do with internal proof. Rather than outside, when this rule guides your life, you change your point of view from other businesses to growth as a person. It really is freeing. When you don't compare, you start to value your own journey with all of its ups and downs. You start to see your life has its own road, not a race against someone, those of someone else. This way of thinking lets you to enjoy your own successes, not having the shadow of what someone else has done, putting down your light. If you can learn on your own to change the way you think from comparing to self-reflection, you'll find happiness. Makes more sense. You'll start to see the good things in your life, having fun in your own life without the need to put them up against anyone else's. So after that, you see yourself getting caught in the comparison trap. Remember to take a step back, that your worth doesn't mean based on how you rank about other people, what you do with your life for your own beliefs and work. Put that energy back into to reach your own goals and growth. Believe me, this changes everything. In getting rid of overthinking and find real happiness on your own special path, the search for excellence can be a constant drive that ironically doesn't make things better, but to make people even less happy in weakness. When we set impossible goals, strict rules for ourselves, every little mistake or setback can make you feel like a total failure. It leads to stress all the time and constant thinking too much. Philosophers who were Stoic really got this. They taught us that trying to be perfect in the usual way, 100% perfect and finished, is not only not possible, but also not needed. This is what Seneca said. We go through more pain in your mind than in real life. He meant to say that our search of a perfect state in their minds causes us a lot more stress rather than the real flaws in life. Take a moment to think about that. How often have you been in pain over getting something right, only to find that the work was making you feel more anxious than what the results showed? Stoicism asks us to, in order to accept flaws, not as a flaw, but as an important part of being human, by saying yes, that we are flawed by nature, we can get away. Because of the unrealistic hopes that hold us together and make loops that never end of thinking too much. This doesn't mean we shouldn't try to get better or grow anything but that. It means that we understand. Getting better is a process, one that is going on and full of lessons learned from mishaps and slip-ups. Imagine that you could talk to a new job or learn something new with this in mind, that mistakes are not only okay, but really are important. How much more ready would you be to start something new, to try new things and take chances? This is freedom, giving up on the idea of perfection, offers the Stoic way of life, teaches us whatever flaw there is, gives you a chance to learn. He wrote as Marcus Aurelius, what was stopping to action moves work forward. What is stopping them turns into the way he is telling us that the problems came up. There are flaws, but also the failures aren't just problems to solve. They are important parts of the trip that make us want to get better and grow. So let's move on. Let's try to change the subject. Instead of trying to be perfect, let's try to make progress. Let us celebrate the little wins. And the big ones, being aware of every step moving forward, is helpful. Let's study to find beauty in things that aren't perfect, because the flaws make it unique, that give our lives more depth, and our lives really being ourselves. Give up the idea that you are perfect and find that you're not just cutting down think too much, you're also letting a whole new world of options where getting bigger is fun and not a chore. It's simple to let our thoughts take over, but it's important. Not forget that our feelings and reactions don't always stand for the truth about our lives. Stoicism tells us that moods aren't real, while a part of nature of our lives as people should not tell us what to do or how we see things in reality. This idea has deep roots in what the Stoics taught Marcus Aurelius and other thinkers who gave us advice to step back and look at our thoughts, telling ourselves if they are based on truth or if we let our feelings get the best of us, change the way we judge. What he famously said, your mind is under your control, not events outside of. Understand this, and you will get strong. Remember the last time you were too emotional to handle. You might have been stressed about a big meeting or angry because of a fight with a friend. At those times, how we feel can feel like a whole, as if they define everything about our lives. But here's the thing. Emotions come and go. They come and go. Trick us into overestimating what's important in terms of how we feel right now. This calm lesson isn't about keeping your feelings inside. Instead, it's about not letting them handle you. This is what it's about. A certain amount of distance where you can say thank you how you feel without letting them get cloudy. Use your judgment. This is what the Stoics mean when people talk about living a good life. It has to do with answering to life's problems with logic instead of letting your feelings guide you. So let's say you're really sad. Since you didn't get a job, you were asked for the first emotional. One answer could be to think you're not good enough, or will never find a job you enjoy. But please wait a minute, take a step back and use reason. You could see that this refusal might be a chance to look at other choices or places to make things better in how you do in interviews. By not letting your emotions shape your world, you let people in to more positive things and ways of action. Starting to do this can be as easy as next time you find yourself getting moved. Take a deep breath and ask, is my response based on truth or how I think the situation is going? Is there another way to look at this? Most of the time, just taking this moment can keep you from going down into negative think too much and help you get their problems in a more logical way. What Epictetus taught that it's not the events really that bother us, but how we see them changing our point of view. By calling into question the how our feelings make us act, we can change how we understand the good and bad things in life. This doesn't mean we should ignore how we feel. It means taking care of them such a way that lets us to answer with knowledge and understanding. What Stoicism teaches us that much of our trouble comes from holding on too tight to things we can't change. Think about the Stoics, are all about being different between the things we can change and what's outside of it. And while we can change what happens, we can't fully control them. It is said that Epictetus, some things are under our power and some are not. Stoicians believe this simple fact. Stay calm and strong. When you work on a project, think about or work toward your own set of goals. If you're only thinking about the result, every little setback can feel like a big problem. This obsession can cause stress all the time as well as sadness, because variables often have an effect on results. We just can't plan or guess. What if you changed your pay attention to the result about the work itself? Think about the freedom and happiness in knowing that how much you value yourself doesn't depend on how your deeds turn out, but in the way they and the reason behind them. This is what it means to separate from outcomes. It's not that they don't care about success. It's not about what they say about you. Let's use this in relation to something like beginning a new exercise or diet plan. If you only care about losing a certain amount of weight between a certain time, you're going to be angry with yourself. And possible failure instead if you work on improving healthy ways to eat or having fun while you work out. You turn your attention to the process. You start to like it how your energy is getting better every day in state of mind. These are direct results of what you did, things you can handle. The weight loss then turns into a good side effect that is not the only way to judge your progress. This stoic way of thinking helps people become stronger. When results aren't the most important thing, be less scary when things go wrong. They're just a part of the trip. Chances to learn and make changes. This way of thinking a more long-lasting drive because it has roots where you are and what you are doing, not in a faraway goal that might be hard to reach besides separating from results lets you be more present. Interested in the job at hand, it makes you more effective because you're thinking about what to do, not worried about the effects and getting in the way. This might make things better. Surprise, surprise, because you are working from a place of involvement and being yourself, not fear and connection. So let's move on. Let's try to make this happen. Focus on what you're doing, on living your life based on your ideals and giving each moment your best trust that this will help you. Things will turn out fine on their own. Any way you look at it, remember, just like Marcus Aurelius said, you're good. The rest doesn't matter. It makes you feel free. Plus, it cuts down a lot on thinking too much and worry that isn't needed. It's simple to get caught up.